Hey guys, I am super stoked to announce that Omaze is giving away a 2020 C8 Stingray Z51, taxes and shipping paid, plus $20K in the trunk. All you gotta do is go to omaze.com/thesmokingtire to enter. The C8 Stingray is one of my favorite cars of the year. It's one of the best riding cars I've ever driven. The dual clutch gearbox is amazing from an American company, and it is way fast, especially for its price point. But it's totally sold out. So the only way you can get one now is by going to omaze.com/thesmokingtire. Every donation benefits a great cause, the Ronald Reagan UCLA Medical Center. Check for details on the site. So just go to omaze.com/thesmokingtire and check it out for yourself. I will see you out on the road. Hello everybody, welcome to a part of the Angeles Forest I almost never use. It's a phenomenal road, but we have a couple factors working against us today with the 2021 Cayenne GTS Coupe. Factors against us. One, because I had to go to a presentation for this thing in the morning. I didn't get to come out at 6 a.m. like I usually do, which means the middle of the day light kind of sucks, and also that there are people here, which are two things I'm spoiled enough to not usually have to deal with. But this was my one day to drive this thing, and I found it to be interesting, so here we are. The 2021 Cayenne GTS Coupe. You can get in a regular roof or the coupe roof. I've chosen the coupe roof for this test. The GTS is positioned, as with all the other Porsche lineups, between the S and the turbo, but with a very specific selection of options that really make it the most driver-oriented of the range. So this Cayenne GTS Coupe is the sportiest one they make, and they have configured certain things to that end, even compared to the much more expensive Turbo S E Hybrid that I drove in Germany last year. The big story with this is last year this had a 3.6 liter twin turbo V6. It now has a 4 liter twin turbo V8, same as the Panamera GTS, 453 horsepower and 457 pound-feet of torque. That's connected to the 8-speed automatic gearbox. No PDK in the Cayenne, 8-speed automatic only, torque converters. It has, let's see, steel rotors base, but all other brakes are available that they make, all three. This one has optional ceramics, 10 pistons in the front. But even if you get the base steel brakes, it's still unique to GTS. It's up from the S. GTSs are, you can tell them from the outside because all their trim has been blacked out. This one has, believe it or not, a lightweighting package, which even Porsche will admit doesn't save that much weight, but it eliminates the panoramic glass roof and gives you a carbon hard roof. So that is really something you want to maybe look into. It's pretty cool. Let's have a drive and talk about the rest. Here we go. We're going to go into manual, turn the knob to Sport Plus, and we're off. Alright, there are two different exhausts you can get on this thing, and they give you a different rear bumper. If you get the regular exhaust, you have a split exhaust, right, either side, or you can get the sport exhaust, which comes out of a central pair of outlets in the middle. It is a true dual exhaust, but it comes out of the middle like a 911. I like their creativity with the styling, but the fact of the matter is, if you're trying to load or unload the trunk with the engine running, your legs get burned. Ask me how I just found that out. Rear steer is optional on the GTS. This one's got it. I should mention that the base price of the Cayenne GTS Coupe is $110K. No one's getting that. This one has $51,000 in options, and I'll go through the list at the end of our video of everything it's got. But as the Porsche folks told me earlier today, people tend to buy the S models with your basic options packages, right? You lease them, you take them off the lot, you know, what have you. GTSs, people here, GTSs are frequently special ordered from the factory in color combinations and options combinations that add typically more than 25% to the MSRP. So this one's $161K. You probably don't have to go that far with your own GTS, but this one has everything. We are starting this video on the top of a mountain at 5,400 feet. And by the time I get to the bottom and turn around, we're going to be at 3,000 feet. So we're going to really see how this works. 4,900 and change is the weight. It's, God, I really want to say it's 700 pounds lighter than the hybrid I drove. It's not as agile as a Macan, right? But for a proper SUV, pretty impressive. This one has the optional 22-inch wheels, which you may notice are very similar to the wheels, bigger, but similar to the wheels I had on the Cayenne GT4. Like I said, optional 10-piston ceramics. Air suspension, standard in America, 30 millimeters lower than the S. And what I like about the air suspension here, normal mode gives you a very kind of floaty magic carpet glide on the freeway, which I love. I've got it on sport here for a bumpy canyon road that tightens up the handling without making it too abusive. Sport Plus, I think, is still a little too stiff for my taste. The automatic gearbox, not as good as PDK, of course, what is? But it listens to my commands when I use the paddle shift. It is smooth when I want it to be. It stays on the red line if I get there in manual mode. It will not upshift. And the advantage, of course, is a 7,000-pound towing capacity compared to, I think, 5 is the limit on any PDK-equipped vehicle. So you're up at the level where you could tow a proper boat or an enclosed trailer with one of these, which really isn't something you can do with the Macan. The other advantage over the Macan is rear seat room. In a Macan, although the front seat room is similar to the Cayenne, I can't fit behind myself in a Macan. The leg room is gone if I want to be comfortable in the front, and so here I can set my seat to where I like it, and then I can get in the back and easily sit behind myself. For even a fairly extended period of time, I'd be okay. So that's really where your advantage is. And in fact, if you really want that advantage, you should just get the regular roof, because although there's not a huge difference in the back seat, the headroom, you know, if I sit back there, my head will brush, whereas in the long roof, I'll call it, it won't. Really making these ceramics work going downhill. There's the red line in second gear, not upshifting. That is good. The steering is pretty heavy. They've got a relatively small steering wheel. We've got 240. I didn't note the front tires. Let me look at the front tires. Optional 22-inch GT design wheels. I didn't write the size of the front of the tires, but 22-inch wheels with a small sport design steering wheel. It just means your arms are going to have to work a little harder, but they've retuned the steering just for GTS. Steering, brakes, suspension calibration, performance torque vectoring, and PDCC all have specific calibrations for Cayenne GTS. They've really tried to make it as sporty as they can. In the differentials, you know, there's different modes for gravel and snow and dirt and all that, but the standard sporty driving modes, they really send a lot of that power to the rear, and it makes it drive much more like a rear drive vehicle than a 4x4, except when you get right at the exit of a hairpin, crank the wheel and squirt. Yeah, see that? The rear steer, torque vectoring and all that, it really helped me rotate it on that exit, which I actually found to be very cool. That's something the Macan does well, and I did not expect it from the Cayenne. He kept going. Hello, officer. Great road, isn't it? Really good flat power band. Makes great power from 3 to 6 and change. Does not die up at the top. It stays going to red line. Porsche says 0 to 60 in 4.2 and the quarter mile in 12.9. If I had to guess, both of those would be quite conservative numbers, I think. I think this thing will beat both of them. Although it's sporty, you know, especially up here on the mountain, it's not, the acceleration alone will not boggle your mind. It's fast, it feels fast, you know, but it's not like crazy like the E-Hybrid was. The E-Hybrid was like, oh my god, this is so fast. This is, wow, they managed to get quite a bit of feel and response out of an SUV without making it ride bad, and without making it overly harsh or overly heavy. I mean, I know this sounds silly to be saying in 2020, but the fact that this thing has stayed under 5,000 pounds is something of an accomplishment. I know it doesn't, you don't want to think that way, but it's actually true. Hit the red line there. You know, would it be better if it had a PDK? It would certainly be more focused, right? If you said, okay, the GTS gets the PDK because it's the sporty one, right? Although I understand why they haven't done that. Man, it pulls. Wow, that's fast. Okay, that's fast. There's a few different tire options for this thing. For some reason, this is a Euro spec car. I'm not really sure why, but it's got Yokohamas on it. I've never seen Yokohamas on a Porsche press car before. That's a first. Fine. I haven't driven on Yokohamas in quite some time. I was going to go back up, but I guess not now. Not with that guy there. Woo! These brakes are hauling them down. No hint of fade, even though we are just bombing downhill at pace. I really like the balance of how you can, I mean, you can dance it. You can stand it on the nose under braking. You can dance it into a corner, and then you can lean on the throttle to load up the all-wheel drive system and squirt it out. I mean, it's really, really cool. Very agile. And certainly the subtraction of several hundred pounds versus Turbo SE Hybrid, although it doesn't have the face-melting, mind-bending acceleration, and although you don't get that, oh, I get to drive on EV mode silently, the engine is properly aggro, the whole package is well balanced, it's not plowy or understeery. The whole thing is really quite good. Yeah, I mean, you can really stand it on the nose and turn it hard into a corner once you've transferred that weight. Woo! Oh, here we go. Yes. I mean, it dances, man. It does. It dances good. There's the end of our run. Now we're down here where people are. Let's check the turning radius once I have viz. Okay, U-turn. This has rear steer. Oh, not as good as the 911. Let's just give her a little bit of uphill and see what she do on the uphill. We're down to 3,000 feet now. We came from the top of that mountain. On the uphill, you can use it to brake and turn you into the corner. You need to use significantly less brakes and significantly more throttle. on the uphills, very liberal with the throttle because it's got so much traction that unless the wheel is like fully cranked over, it's gonna stick. It's gonna stick that front end and it's gonna go. It's very good. Okay. I mean, it really likes to dance on throttle. Like now, if you've got a transition and you stand on the throttle in the middle of the transition, that gets really fun. That's when it gets awesome. That's what this thing's really good at. Okay, so we just passed the 2,000 foot. So in the first bit of our video, we dropped 3,000 feet down. Right here, this transition, oh, I mean, dancing a Cayenne, you know, around I'm having fun. I'm actually having fun. This is nice. All right. And turns in. Look at the grip. Loads it up. Nice. Yeah. Yeah, it's stuck like a pig. Alrighty then. Whoa! Well, let's go to the notebook and see if there's anything I missed, because sometimes that happens, and I don't have a whole week with the car. I only have a day. Let's see. Tidbits to know. The new V8 engine is lighter than the old twin-turbo V6. Optional rear steer. Sport chrono package is standard in the coupe and optional in the long roof. Multiple OEM tires. No, that's really it. Houndstooth interior. Standard in the GTS, I think, or no-cost option. That's excellent. Let's see, before we get out of here, how we started at 110 and ended up at 161. Please bear in mind that although this is going to sound insane, the press cars have all the stuff in them so that I can talk to you about all the stuff. It doesn't mean you need to get it. So, Carmine Red is $3 grand. The lightweighting package is $12,000. And so you get carbon mirrors, carbon trim, sport exhaust, 22-inch wheels, the steering wheel in Alcantara, interior trim in carbon fiber, and the carbon fiber roof. 12,000 bucks. Wow. PDCC dynamic chassis controls $3,500, rear steer $1,600, ceramic brakes $9,000, LED headlights in black $1,200, thermal insulated glass $1,300, auto dimming mirrors $420, heads up. This has a heads up display. Wow, with my polarized glasses, it's useless. You can skip the heads up display. Surround view cameras $1,200, lane change assistance, soft closed doors. That's $1,700. Heated windshield, $490. An air deionizer, $350. Adaptive sport seats with memory, $1,700 bucks. Heated seats front and rear, $1,000. Wow. Central tachometer in Carmine Red. Oh wow, that is Carmine Red. I didn't even notice that. You can probably skip that. That's $1,000 bucks. Smartphone compartment with wireless charging, $700. Bose stereo, $1,200. Rear seat entertainment, $380. Oh, prep for that. Prep for rear seat entertainment and then rear seat entertainment are separate. Collectively, they're $2,200. That gets you to $161,170. So do you need all that stuff? Certainly you don't. But as Porsche said before, S models are typically sold with an additional 10% in options, bought off the lot or leased or whatever. GTSs, being the enthusiast model, are typically special ordered in special colors with special options, and they have typically 25 to 50% more in options. That's how people order these things. So I guess even though this sounds crazy, that's how people are going to get them. So I think they've done well here. I don't love the coupe. I would get the long roof, both for rear headroom reasons and to spread that exhaust back to the side. I don't like it in the middle. Besides that, if you don't need the rear seat and you don't need to tow, go Macan. It's more efficient, it's cheaper, it's lighter, and it's built to the same level of quality, okay? If you do need the rear space or you do need to tow, and you got a lot of money, this thing is pretty freaking rad. So I'd like to thank Porsche for having me out to drive it today, Porsche Cars North America. I'd like to thank you for checking it out as well, and I'll see you guys later. Bye. And remember,
always fight your tickets. Go to offtherecord.com/TST or use code TST10 on the Off the Record app.